In the city of Fuuto, a man transforms into a hybrid fighter who engages with an entire army of assassins all by himself. In an intense battle now, a detective named Shorty introduces himself in dramatic fashion but is immediately rebuked by his colleague Akiko Narumi, who orders him to get to work in the funniest way possible. At that moment, Shotaro comes across a very attractive woman named Tokime. He is tempted at first, but he does his best to resist her when she asks him if he can satisfy her, as she's very hungry. However, when he turns around, he is shocked to see that she has vanished into thin air. Now we see Shotaro in the Naomi Detective Agency, where Akiko is fiercely berating him for his inconsistent work. They are interrupted when a client named Chuta Tsubasaki nervously enters the office. He says that he wants the detectives to look for a wedge. Much to their collective surprise, any flashback, we see that he had run into Tokime. When he had just come to the city, he offered to help her, but he took his back and ran away after claiming to be a witch. Judah also mentions that he chased after her but was unable to catch up as she could move swiftly in the air. Shotaro identifies this witch as the same movement he recently met, and then he also realizes that Chuta didn't go to the cops because he wants to meet Tokime again, as he has fallen in love with her. Akiko is surprised to hear this, but Chuta admits that he doesn't even want the money back despite the hardness of the case. Shotaro accepts the job. Later he tells Akiko that he escaped the witch's charm, but she mocks him by saying he was spared because he has no money. Shotaro's partner Philip expresses an interest in the case, but Shotaro says that he'll handle this by himself. Then he gets on his bike and rides through Fuuto to look for Tokime. After a long search, one of Shotaro's informants tells him about a wedge in the T-junction area. Later they run into Tokime, but the informant blows their cover, so she flies away. Shotaro gives chase on his bike and a hectic sequence follows. He eventually catches up to her and then she reveals her name. Shotaro asks her to return the bag she stole from Judah, but she mocks him and runs away after landing a cake on his stomach. Shuntoto chases after her but is suddenly transported to a shadow version of Fuuto, after which he strangely ends up inside a building owned by a local gangster named Tachikawa. His cop friends Jin and Maki are called to the scene, but Tachikawa also agrees that the witch is causing problems for him as she had seemingly killed one of his goons. Now Shotaro, Jin and Maki discuss the witch case, and we learn that lots of dead bodies have started showing up on the streets. Shotaro informs Teddy about Test, but he still wants to meet Tokime as he is completely infatuated with her. The agency decides to keep this case a secret, and then we learn that Akiko is married to a cop named Ryu. Terui. Judah starts to lose faith in Shotaro, but then he gets a call from Philip, suggesting Tokime is using a memory, which is basically a kind of magic activator found in small containers. Now Shotaro's employee Lily tells Judah that memories are sold discreetly in the city as part of the black market. After someone's back shit, Shota realizes that Tokime is quite well groomed despite not having any legal residence, so he locates her at a fountain. After asking some homeless people, Chuta asks Tokime to give him his bag back, but she runs away and the men find themselves in the Shadow City as they chase after her. However, they are suddenly attacked by a monster, and Shotaro is about to be killed, but then Philip drops by to save him. They decide to join forces now that they realize what they are dealing with. The monster runs away and then Tokime shows herself to the man. She questions Philip for a bit, but then she vanishes and the team is brought back to the real world. They meet Tachikawa and tell him about what they saw, but his important Sabu doesn't believe them. Tachikawa maintains that he wants to burn the witch, and then we learn about Gaia memories. These devices can turn humans into monsters known as dopins, and are still being sold even though the organizations that made them is no longer around. Judah wants to stop with the investigation, but Shotaro asks him to allow some more time as his pride is at stake. Then he asks Philip to run a search, and after a detailed breakdown they learn that the memory in use is called Road. That's when Philip reveals that the Shadow City is made from biological materials that need to be replenished by human matter. It leads the team to suspect that Tokime might be a cannibal. Later another road victim shows up and the detectives are convinced that the person responsible for these crimes is a road dopant. Philip believes that Tokime is the doping, stating that she has reached her limit and is now using humans to satisfy her cravings. Shotaro decides to search for some more clues.